It's Not Another Buffalo Podcast, hosted by three of the most underqualified sports personalities this side of the canal. With John.
There's no way in hell that I can leave that in, right?
You don't think so?
Well, to quote Rage Against the Machine, what better place than here? And, what better time than now?
And Brando.
We have this trust built on, whatever it is, like Bibles and gold bricks and whatever Brandon Bean's drinking over there.
All right, welcome back to Not Another Buffalo Podcast. I'm John. I'm here with my buddies, Pat and Brando, here on a Tuesday evening. You can find us on all platforms at Not Buff Podcast. As always, this episode is brought to you guys by Small City Realty. If you're looking to buy, sell, or manage property in Western New York, you can call our guy, Zach Korzelius, at 585-409-1088. That's 585-409-1088. That's for buying, selling, or managing property in Western New York. Our guy, Zach Korzelius, he is the best. So, boys, another week, another MVP performance, another what a time to have a Bills podcast, right?
Right?
Like, can you imagine if
we lined it up pretty good.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've been here for all of the 11 plus win seasons. We've been here for all of them. So
this is year 4, right?
Well, I guess not 2020. Were we?
This is our 4th season.
No, yeah, is it our 5th?
I think this is 4.
4, I think. Yeah, that sounds right. It might be 4, but they've had at least 11 wins in all 4 seasons that we've been doing this. So there's that. Can you imagine if you had a Jet podcast right now? Like, can you imagine if we had to we're sitting on here talking about Aaron Rodgers on Pat McAfee today, and that's like the biggest topic we have to talk about, and who's going to be the coach next year. And I'm grateful to be a Bills fan right now.
But
could you just go ahead, Pat?
I was gonna. Well, it's just a marathon, though. I mean, you have to think about, like, yes, we got in at the right time, but like, really, for that's just don't quit for long enough, and don't be absolutely, on the verge of hurting yourself on the podcast, and you'll be able to,
right.
keep having people listen to it, But
right.
Could you just imagine being a Jets fan in general? It's almost. Probably is worse. Maybe the only thing that is worse than being a Sabres fan. I don't know which one. So. We'll throw that in there real quick. But
it's on par. No end in sight to either of those franchises' non-playoff woes.
Yeah. As long as they keep it lined up, it gives the Sabres a shot to break the drought before the Jets do. I don't want the Sabres to own this record outright. So it's time.
Yeah, I mean that's the only saving grace is the Jets are just as much of a dumpster fire as they are.
Yeah. But I mean in terms of like actual. I want to say the longest streak is in baseball. I believe it's the Cubs, and it is like 30 years. So, I mean, like in terms of,
all pro sports.
Yeah. In terms of being bad, it's pretty bad, but it could be worse.
It always could be worse. Everything that's like a life saying. It could be worse. It always could be worse for sure.
You want it?
Yeah.
Since 1969, the Washington Nationals, which this goes into before the Nationals when they were the Montreal Expos, hold the record for the longest MLB postseason drought, missing it from 1982 to 2011.
Wow. That's a stretch right there.
Yep. And that's not good. That's not good at all. So I'm glad we're not on that list.
To be fair, I don't want to downplay our drought here, in professional football where parity is the name of the game. 17 years, which in our lifetimes was our memorable lifetime, to a T, starting at when we started having memories and ending when we were graduating high school.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty rough stretch, to be honest. Actually, no, not even graduating high school. 3 years after graduating high school.
Brando was... Yeah, you guys were juniors and
we were graduating college at that point. Yeah. So,
well, my favorite thing that I like to tell people is like my job at the Bills now. This is my 10th year. Like I was here before McDermott was. I saw Rex Ryan. I saw Tyrod. I saw Matt Castle. That training camp. I'll never forget it. My first year working. It's Matt Castle, Tyrod. Which is cool, but I just remember the eye test being like, Tyrod's the guy here, and it's not close, Rex. So, stop making this a battle and give Tyrod the job. And that was such
nice
great
to see.
feelings.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. All right. Let's stop reminiscing about drought stuff and go back to this past week because we got plenty to talk about for this one.
This is a good segue because those feelings of watching competent quarterback play were so great, and to fast forward to now. for what we have lived through, what we have seen from Josh Allen, the highs, the lows, a lot of highs, extra highs. Now I'm super high on Josh Allen. And the question I have for you guys, and we have had this discussion multiple times on this show, where what version of the Bills is the best? Is it Brian Daboll 2020, Josh Allen, almost 5,000 passing yards, gets an MVP vote? But what's the best stretch of games that he's ever had? Because I think we're in it. I think we're watching it. I don't ever remember seeing a quarterback play this good ever. In over a stretch of 5 games. I will give you the Brady
5-game stretch. Okay, I was gonna say because like the playoff stretch that led into 13 seconds was pretty miraculous.
that was the craziest shit I've ever
But it's
seen.
funny though because it was only 1 game. It was the perfect game from New England.
Well, no, I mean before that.
Think about the stretch that they went on before that of
that Dolphins
games.
game. That Dolphins game, we put up 28 points in the first half. Like,
But specifically from Josh is what I'm saying. Because like we had games, you can't the Cowboys game. He didn't have a good game. They ran the ball so much. We have the Chargers game last year in the middle of their win streak that he didn't really light it up. He played good enough to get the win. We're talking about a stretch of MVP play. The most consistent player right now is Josh Allen, right? But this is the most consistent we've ever seen him. What's the best stretch of play from Josh Allen in his career? But not just Josh Allen in Buffalo's career. I mean, we're talking, what is the best stretch of games ever from a quarterback? Over 5-6 games. And I do think of Brady going undefeated with Randy Moss just every week hitting Moss on deep balls over and over and over. But
well, what about Peyton Manning breaking Tom Brady's record as well?
Yeah.
Throwing for 52 touchdowns in a season?
Those first 3 seasons with the Broncos were remarkable. They were very, very good. But again, he was injured the year before, but he came back another player. I just think what we're watching is historically good. Colin Cowherd's quote of Josh Allen is the most talented player to ever play the position, and just the physical tools that he has. He's throwing the rope on a string. He can do it any way you want it to do. He can break the defense down with his brain. We're just in an era right now, and it's amazing. And I don't think that I've ever seen anything like it. And I'm just curious, like, does anything come right to your mind when you think of the best stretches ever?
Not like what Josh is having. I mean, like, what's the? This historical references for teams that have done similar things, like put up 30 points in 8 games straight.
I guess
greatest show on turf, is it?
Yeah.
Greatest show on turf. It's the 07 Patriots and it's the 2014 Patriots, I want to say.
And
oh shoot, it's 2018.
Not the 2018 Eagles. That's a safe bet, bro. I would.
I knew this.
Broncos 2014
yes,
Broncos.
That's
2013.
it. Yes,
2013
Broncos when Peyton was MVP.
And you want to know the worst part about all those teams?
Lost in the Super Bowl.
They all lost in the Super Bowl. Yeah. So
not this time. Not this time. Yeah.
Dab.
But it's just so cool to see. I just remember watching those Manning highlights. I remember watching Brady. I remember all those teams. My earliest memory is watching Kurt Warner play for the Rams, watching football. And it's so cool. It's just so cool. Like, I'm sitting with my grandma, right? Lions fan at heart, Detroiter, born and raised Detroiter, my mom. And my grandma's like, oh, it hurts to see the Lions lose, but this Allen, he's so good. He's just so good. He's just so good. I'm like, yeah, he is just so good. We can just say that all night long. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Do you think that we're going to see so Josh Allen has been doing all the Josh Allen things. He's been throwing, he's been running. Do you think we're going to see that dialed back these next 3 weeks? Because I feel like that was the peak of the regular season, right? And now we've got 3 games where they might keep a couple of tricks in the bag, and not like tricks in the bag as in holding things back. I mean, they might hold things back schematically at this point, looking at your next 3 opponents. But it was cool to see the return of the Josh Allen sweep. Be a dominant 3rd and 5. You need 5 yards. You're going to get it.
Yep.
And even in the latter days of, Ken Dorsey used to run it a little bit. Even in the latter days of Brian Daboll, it wasn't as effective for whatever reason. And, when they have pulled it out when they needed it to, I think they ran it once or twice in this game, the sweep, at least once. I remember, going towards the right. It was so dominant and so good. To see that.
And these carries from Allen, I feel like they might not even be called, but he just sees the defense and he's like, I get 5 yards here. Easy, done. Next, let's go. So But it changes how defenses can play you, and somebody's going to be open. It's just you have a mismatch on the field. Somebody's going to be open.
Yeah.
Well, and I will say, like, the offensive line play is, I'd say, significantly better these past 2 years than it was really any Brian Dable team or really, any year and a half that Ken Dorsey, I guess.
I did not expect to go into a game. We talked about the trenches going into this game as like a point of nervousness. I did not expect to get the better of the Lions up front, because that was the case. Not only did Josh Allen play better than Jared Goff by a wide margin, Jared Goff for the most of the game was stat padding when the Bills were in prevent defense. Like, the Bills had only allowed 14 points with 2 minutes left in the third quarter. Yeah. So it's like the scoreboard, I don't want to say the scoreboard is a liar, but you're basically trading points for time at that point, right? Even at the end of the third quarter, which is interesting. But Pat, to go along with what you said, the offensive line play in this game was so good. Josh's time to throw was actually almost a second longer on average than it was for the rest of the games this year. He's usually 2 seconds or something like that, average time to throw. He was over 3 seconds for this game, which meant that they were able to run those long developing play action plays because the offensive line was able to hold up. And maybe this is an Aiden Hutchinson not being available.
It's not just him, man. There's like a lot of them.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, like if we talk about the Detroit injuries, we kind of have to talk about the Buffalo's secondary injuries in the same breath.
Well, and you know what? I don't know. That just kind of peeves me too, because
really, yeah. Okay, tell me more, Pat. I want to hear it.
I don't know. People just talk. They talk all sorts of junk. Kirby Joseph's not 100%. He's just coming back from an injury, and I don't know. I just feel like it was, Lions fans, and I get it. Like you said, that defensive line is emaciated, and then they have their, I don't even know what he is. He's like a 2-tack, whatever, I guess, nose tackle type guy goes out. But I just feel like, I don't know. It would be one thing if, like, very clearly we ran the ball down their throat, or very clearly we passed for 450 yards in the game. But, like, if you're just getting, whatever, pushed down pretty hard on both ends, like, it's hard to really justify to say. I mean, and Sean Anzalone, I guess, is good, and, like, he is a coverage linebacker and plays the run really well, but still, excuses.
Right. I mean, we had Kyler Elam in this game was starting. Cole Bishop. Kyler Elam played pretty good.
Yes, he did. Yeah, he did. Yes, he did. My man. Finally.
He's got the athletic, we were at Brando, that playoff game last year. He had a beautiful pick.
I'm on Kyler Elam's team here, right? Like, I've been calling for this guy.
It's so interesting that they never give this guy the benefit of the doubt.
Crazy.
Like, because in the week leading up to this game, they didn't say Kyler Elam was going to play when Rasul Douglas was not going to be available.
We talked about it, didn't we?
They said they're going to leave it up to, they're like, McDermott said, we'll see. When asked if it was going to be between him or
Jamarcus Ingram.
Jamarcus Ingram. Thank you, Pat.
Yeah.
Jamarcus Ingram. So I don't know what they're still waiting for from Kyler Elam. It seems like, I don't know if he has bad practice habits or what. You got Kyler Elam's autograph on that Bills helmet? Or are you just playing?
Kyler Elam autograph right there.
Nice. Yeah.
Let's go, buddy. Let's go.
If you didn't have headphones on, I'd make you wear the helmet for the rest of the
Well, it's kind of funny because it's like a model helmet, so the inside's covered. So it's like doesn't go on your head all the way.
Oh, gotcha.
Which is super disappointing. I
That's
tried.
A bummer. That's
I tried to pull it out. I think, didn't we talk about Kyler Elam stepping up for this game? And I just think he's the perfect player for Sean McDermott's defense. You play.
Well, he's a man coverage guy. His weakness is zone.
This is the thing, though, is these routes that these receivers are running. I mean, Jameson Williams got open deep. Somebody's running a deep route on the Bills every time. Like you play man after that, like 10-yard bubble in front of you. You're still picking up the guy downfield.
Yeah, zone should be man if the guy's in your zone, right?
Yes. And that happens enough to where Kyler Elam should. I mean, I don't care if you're going to throw an 8-yard out route on Kyler Elam, unless you're at the Cincinnati Bengals game or the Kansas City Chiefs 13 seconds game. Let's not let that happen again. But the athleticism was there. His speed was there. I think that if you say that we're going to hold anything back over the next couple of weeks, I think it's you let this guy play. You let these guys develop. You let Spector play linebacker. You let Dorian Williams play linebacker.
Dude, I
let
got
these
a bone
guys
to,
get reps, man.
I got a bone to pick too with freaking dude. I'll tell you what.
Pick it.
Yeah.
Come on. Pick it. Well, I don't know. And I know Sam Laporta only had a couple catches, but I just felt like the middle of the field, like Matt Milano.
Laporte had a good game.
I just felt like they were talking on TV. They were like, yeah, it's a great matchup. Sam Laporte on Matt Milano. Like, I don't know. It just felt like I don't know if he's 100%. Like, I feel like
his groin. He's not.
And I feel like Dorian Williams, who's the leading tackler in the NFL, and I understand that that's a meaningless stat. Really, it's a meaningless stat, really. But
yeah. But
so,
still, it's. Take it for something, even if it's, it doesn't mean he's the best player in the NFL, but if he's leading in tackles.
And he's a smaller guy, like built more so for, that versatile skill set. But I don't know. I guess that would be a bone. I get Dorian out there, man.
I heard people taking some big shots at Dorian this week when people were saying, like after the first game of Matt Milano, do you want to mix him in? And I was like, Dorian Williams hasn't been half bad this year. It's well known that he's had issues in pass coverage. He's been pretty good at run fits. He's had some indecisiveness before, but he's developed through that, and he's played really, like, not exceptional, but pretty dang good for the vast majority of the season so far. And so, of course, when you get a guy like an all-pro back like Matt Milano, you're going to throw him in there. But yeah, no, it begs the question: do you mix him in and try to get Matt Milano up to speed? Because Matt Milano's clearly not yet up to speed. And maybe they're in a rush to get Matt Milano up to speed before playoff time. Maybe he needs that many reps. Maybe he's going to need that much time. Now, who knows what it looks like with a groin injury? But I take exception to some of the disrespect I heard for Dorian Williams on the airwaves this week. So
I will say he is 28th in the league in tackles, just so we're clear on that.
No, but I mean, when he was starting, at one point he was leading the league in tackles. Not currently. But
not correct. I gotcha. Yeah, he was at least leading the Bills. I know that for a fact. That's for sure. But yeah, no, he might have been in the league as well.
Can we talk about this Bills defense that might have helped them win the game by getting 2 straight stops to start the game for the Bills to get up and ahead, and how important that is against this Lions team that came round and pound. And this is the thing that makes me nervous about playing them again in a Super Bowl. The line play. I don't think this is such an outlier of how well we did, right? And how good Ed Oliver played on this. And a good coach, Dan Campbell, that dude fell on his own sword. He's like, his post-game press conference, it was my fault. I shouldn't have done this. I should have had these guys better prepared for this. Like, Sean McDermott would never. I mean, right? No offense, Sean. You did a good job, but I thought that was great. But the point of it is something like this. Yeah, I don't know how they replicate it, right? How does the second game look? Is it a 21-17 game compared to this? Like, I don't know, but
David Montgomery not at 100% either.
Yeah, he's done.
He might be out for the year.
He is out for the year. I think
he is out for the year. Yeah, that's a bummer for them. Or something. That's terrible.
Heart and soul guy, off. But it's just get these guys reps now. Do it. Like, rest your starters, Sean. Please.
Yeah,
please.
I want to read you the rushing stats for this game. Jahmyr Gibbs, 8 carries for 31 yards with an average of 3.9 yards per carry. Jared Goff, 2 for 13 with an average of 6.5 yards per carry. Best average yards per carry among Detroit rushers. And David Montgomery, 5 carries for 4 yards for a 0.8 yard average. He was stuffed at the line 5 times. That's what that stat is. Yep. It was crazy.
Bills finally got a negative play. Did you see that? They did a graphic on that on the score.
Yeah, it's on Bills running. I think Ty Johnson got tackled behind the line or something like that.
No, well, the Bills made a negative play too, because remember the Rams game, there was no negative plays on both sides.
On either side.
The Bills got them. So
right.
Yeah.
And took a negative play also. But yeah, the Detroit as a team, 15 carries for 48 yards, and those are padded by Jared Goff's 2 scrambles.
Crazy.
That's just
that
nuts.
one for the first down. It looked like you could have slid a piece of paper underneath those heels, dude. I swear to God,
it's on his tippy toes running.
Yeah,
but that's a good example of how sometimes box scores can be deceiving. Because if you flip this game around and Detroit's up 14-0, I think the rushing and passing stats are almost reversed for Detroit, right? Because Detroit threw for 494 yards. Almost 500 yards passing in a losing effort because they were playing from behind and the Bills were giving them 10-yard chunks repeatedly in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So,
you know who also threw for 500 yards and lost the game?
Our boy.
Tommy.
Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Not our boy. I was saying Josh. I was wrong. I was not saying
Tom's our boy, guys. Tom's our boy. Yeah.
Tom on Fox. Tom.
Fox.
Foxy Tommy. Yeah,
Foxy Tom. Not.
But I think all of these pundits. Chris Broussard's an idiot. No offense, man. I am sure you're a respectable guy. I love your show. Nick Wright, I like this show. He's talking about it today, but the guy's like, yeah, everybody's talking about the Buffalo Bills, but my Philadelphia Eagles are the number one team. Look at this Bills defense. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, let's give them a little bit of credit for stopping the Lions 3-and-out on the first 2 drives to get the lead. And then they did get a turnover to also change the game. And they played situationally decent football, as bad as it is. I just think like you said, the box score is deceiving. But this guy, Chris, he's going on.
I mean, I will say, in defense of that argument, well, number one, I guess people in Philadelphia can't just say Jalen Hurts or Kelsey Cox Hurts Swift. But have you ever seen that jersey mashup? But I mean, Jalen Hurts against Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow. The last time those 4 quarterbacks have played Jalen Hurts, they have lost. So, I mean, not to say either way but
that's true. I think
that's an interesting stat.
That's a Sean Hockley horse collar stat there as well. If you recall that, but yeah, so exceptions all over the place.
The Eagles also lost to Atlanta and Tampa Bay this year.
So did Detroit lost to Tampa Bay as well. So
we can play this all day.
Yeah, they are. John, I got that game pick wrong. We're going to talk about that in a little bit.
This is a good segment if you want to segue into game picks right now.
I want to ask you guys one more thing before we get to game picks here, really quick. All right, so obviously Detroit has Sonic and Hedgehog as their running back names, man. Right?
What is it? Knuckles, Sonic and Knuckles.
Yeah. So did I say Sonic and Hedgehog? That'd be hilarious. That's not it.
Sony.
Can you tell I haven't seen the Sonic the Hedgehog movies?
That's what I said. We're freaking PlayStation kids, bro. I don't know anything about Sonic. But
all right, so I've got some written down. None of these are really good. It's tough to come up with a name for 3 guys without just being like the 3 Musketeers, the 3 Amigos. Yeah. It's like everything that comes to mind has been used before and is not unique to these guys. One I did see on Twitter that I liked was Earth, Wind, and Fire. With Earth being Ray Davis, Wind being James Cook, and then Fire being Ty Johnson.
That's been done though.
Yeah, that's the Giants 07.
That's the Giants running backs.
That's Ahmad Bradshaw, Brandon Jacobs.
And who's the last one?
God, he played on the Colts too. What's his name? Jesus. I love how you knew it too, Brando.
Of course.
I love how you guys know the same too.
Derek Ward.
Yeah.
Yep. Derek Ward. That was Google search. I didn't know it. Yeah.
So this is what I got so far. I've only got like 4 ones. Cook and Company could be good, but again, none of these really roll off.
I'm suing.
Suing. Yeah, we have Cap and Company for the band name. Cook, Catch, and Crash, Buffalo Buffet, and my personal favorite is Ground Control. Which again, but it doesn't have anything specific about it that makes it about them. It's just like a generic nickname. So I don't know. Submit your favorites to us in the comments, in the videos, on wherever you're listening to this or whatever.
I think the best one I heard on WGR when the guy called in, but he included Josh Allen in this because Allen runs so well throughout the season. So it's really 4, but it was the Ninja Turtles. And he said Leonardo, he in Donatello,
don't
Raphael,
hurt yourself, buddy.
Michelangelo, right? So, but it was like, Nunchucks guy, the guy who fights first. I like the Ninja Turtles, but I was a non-cable kid as you were, John. So my Ninja Turtles knowledge is not very high.
We can't exactly come up with a bunch of nicknames based off of Arthur. I mean,
Yeah, Clifford.
Yeah.
So, they're just so good, man. They're so good. Ty Johnson, the throw over across the body. Like when Ty Johnson releases on like a little post route to the end zone and Allen throws it back across. There's such a beautiful play.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. It's so funny. Actually, I posted a video this morning and I said that this running back trio needs a name. So literally as my phone is lighting up with suggestions for as we speak, somebody said the Unholy Trinity. That's cool. I kind of like Buffalo Bee Gees just came in. Buffalo Bee Gees. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, I just had a couple of those roll in, so I figured I'd share.
They're good. That's all.
BGs. Yeah.
BG-13, bro. Come on.
BG-13.
And again,
funny.
I was talking about this today with my coaching staff for my basketball team because we have to change our system sometimes depending on our personnel. Well, we change it every year, but depending on what we have. But I'm like, we gotta like take inspiration from Joe Brady guys, because like attack their weaknesses and use what we have against them. And just like they highlighted it so much on the broadcast about how the Bills were going after the backup linebackers, and it was nice to be on the other side of it for once.
Usually it's the other way around.
Yeah. So shout out to Alan and Brady for that. And Joe Brady's gone, right? He's taking a head coaching job. Can we hire him as head coach here?
Yeah,
no offense, Sean. No offense, Sean. I'm not hating on you.
What do you think about bringing back Brian Dable? New Ozempic Brian, I should say,
but like as coordinator, if Brady gets a head coaching job,
I know he and Sean McDermott don't get along super well.
That's the thing. So I like me. I'm like, okay, if Joe Brady's getting a head coaching job, I'm like, yeah. That's the first guy I would think of, but there's no way. If you saw those guys shake hands at the end of the game that they played, there's no way that those two are going to work in the same building again. Yeah. I think and I had brought that up previously on the podcast too. And I was thinking about it and I saw a replay of that. Like those two men do not like each other. Philosophically do not get along. I don't
think Dable's going to get fired either. They got to get a chance at their own guy at quarterback. And I think they're going to get a shot at it.
Who, Cam Ward probably, or Shedeur?
Yeah, I hope they don't take Sanders. Cam Ward is pretty good. I think he would be a good fit there. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, Brandon, while we have a second, do you wanna get a little Sabres update in here? I just checked the box score and it looks like they lost 6-1. Do you want to do a Sabres update?
No.
This has been your weekly Sabres update.
They suck. What a joke. You're a joke of an organization. Sell the team to the Buffalo Braves. Give me NBA basketball. Give me the WNBA. Give me extra Bandits games. Give me a pickup hockey team league. Give me the ice time for my hockey league. We'll put on good games. I don't care what it is. Get rid of this freaking team. Do something. You're a joke. 10 in a row. 11 in a row. You just lost 6-1.
Caca. Sounded like a crow.
They suck. They suck. It's so sad. It's so sad.
Let's bring back the Braves.
I don't know. I feel like a WNBA team in Buffalo would be low-key pretty lit. Like that'd be so, man. That'd be fun.
Anything's more lit than the Sabres.
I mean, I like the Sabres though. Oh.
Give me a monster truck jam every Friday night. I don't care. But don't you like anything else?
Don't you like getting a couple drinks in you? You get on the subway. I mean, it's a lot better after they win for sure. But like.
I love going to Sabres games. I've probably gone to, in my 7 years of living here, close to 150 games, maybe even less. So I just refuse to go now. I will not support this dumpster fire. It's the worst arena in sports. If I don't get the first row of the 300s, I don't get a damn cup holder for my drink. Oh, it makes me so mad. I don't get the cushion on my seat because they're too cheap to put them in. But we got a new scoreboard, guys, so we can see the score without the period on it. Because and my dad brought this up. He's like, Brandon, where's the period? And then they talked about it on WGR, and I didn't know that was like a thing people noticed. So we can watch them lose. We can see the score perfectly fine. We can see the power play twinkle down to 0. They have the worst power play in the dang league, and the guy still has a job. The special teams coach still has a job year after year, and he just stays here. They must love him. He must cook cookies for everybody, bake cookies for everybody all the time because he's not here for his X's and O's. I can't.
Do you think the Bills and the Sabres should orchestrate a trade between their special teams coordinators? Do you think that could be, a good change of scenery?
They could
for
have
both
Matthew
of them, move across town?
Yeah, freaking.
hey, the guy that we recovered our onside kicks, Matt Hollins did good. Tyler Bass,
that does not absolve of the special teams sins of this year.
Yeah,
in the last couple of years. But
special teams coordinators
don't let anybody forget that we're one Reed Ferguson getting run over by a reindeer play away from 12-2 this year so far. So there's that.
Reed Ferguson's such a good dude. I feel bad that happened to him, but he owned it. He owned it pretty good. Does he still have his podcast with his brother?
That's a good question. Yeah, I don't know.
They were on.
Isn't his brother's on the Dolphins, right?
Yeah, that's why it was kind of cool. That was cool. Yeah.
Right.
I did have a name suggestion though before we. For the tight ends. for the tight ends, because you have Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid, Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, I feel like, if not used before, I don't know. I feel like Dawson would have to be
Dungeons
Donkey.
and Dragons.
True.
Is Diddy Kong like a secondary character in the Mario universe?
He's like a smaller version of DK.
Diddy Kong's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, Donkey Kong's good Smash Bros. character. Diddy Kong's a little bit weak, but.
Oh, that's funny.
John, I think you would like Smash Bros. We didn't get to this part of our gaming career because we got stuck on Guitar Hero and Madden, but
that's all right. That's all right. I have tried Smash Bros. Yeah, not very good at Smash Bros.
Well,
I suck at Mario Kart. Any game that's not modeled after a realistic activity, I pretty much stink at. Like anything like realistic, like you throw me in a NASCAR game or Madden, quote big quotations for the realistic there, right? But I can handle it. But anything where it's like reaction time, exaggerate, any of that stuff, can't handle it.
Pat and I, we understand what you're saying here. The guys we play Smash Bros with, grew up on it, right? Nizzy, friend of the
I was
show.
gonna say the girl who beats us every time
Holly,
we play.
his girl, just plays as Kirby, and maybe one time in 15 years of playing it with him, I've won, and it's hard if you didn't grow up with it.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Props to we got the PlayStation right away. I had Duke Nukem Time to Kill, so I was like, why would I want to have small animals fight each other when I can shoot radioactive pigs in Duke Nukem? But
That's funny. All right, you want to roll some game picks here, Brando?
Let's get into game picks, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls. The standings are shaking up this week. And by shaking up, I mean I caught Pat, and John is still pretty much ahead of us. Finally, Pat and I dogging it out for second place here.
I'm bringing shame to my family. I'm bringing shame.
Your son is gonna see these game picks years from now and be like, Dad, what are you doing?
He's gonna be like, Dad, how did Brandon get to be that much more football savvy and cooler and smarter and more handsome than you? But read them off nonetheless.
Well, Luca, Pat picked Indianapolis against the spread. That's how.
Yeah. And then he picked the Bills to lose.
That Indianapolis game is. Oh, sorry, I'm screaming. My son is sleeping. Like very close. But that Indianapolis game is bull. I should be able to get some sort of like reparation for Jonathan Taylor's touchdown. But
dude, he screwed a lot of people over.
I had the Denver defense in fantasy, and it didn't come down to it because, oh my God, my team put up 160 points and Tua put up 2 of them. So that was the reason why I lost my fantasy playoff game. But I had the Denver defense, and that saved me a little bit of points there.
Mike Shope said on the radio he lost by 4 points, and he had Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, that's brutal.
That's tough. Yeah,
that's really
tough.
brutal.
So we had Pat get 2 wins on the day, 4 losses. John 3-3, Brandon 4-2. Pat and I are tied at 47-41. John's winning 52-36. So we're gonna go through these quickly, guys. You give me your rationale here. Houston going in to Arrowhead to play Kansas City. Maybe he sees Mahomes, maybe he doesn't. I mean, he was a full participant in practice today. Kansas City is a -3-point favorite. I'm taking Houston here. CJ Stroud seems to be kicking it up a notch. Sorry, I had a burp there. And
everybody cross it off of your bingo boards. Brandon talks through a burp.
Yep. Give me Houston.
That's just part of being 28, man. You're 29 now.
29.
But I'm going to take Houston too. I'm with you, Brando. You said that he's a full participant in practice today?
He was today, yeah.
Oh, my God. So this is the Mahomes fake limp off the field?
Yeah, bro. My toe, and then my ankle. Andy. But
Travis. You gotta get that growl in it. It's got to be the Kermit, but you got to get the growl in it too.
That's really good.
That's the hard.
I'm super
tough part.
impressed.
Yeah, it's really good.
He said, Matt, Coach Nagy, why don't you take over for us? Yeah, listen, my ankle's hurting. Andy's blood pressure is really, really high. Let's give the Texans this one this week. No, I don't even care. They could lose. I'm still gonna pick them. I'm never gonna pick against the Chiefs again, ever. I've learned my lesson.
Fair.
That is fair. Yeah. I'm wondering if I should even be picking against them right now. Yeah. They're only favored by 3. I was thinking it was going to be Carson Wentz time, but if they're getting, cankles out there, I guess I'll still go Houston.
Yeah, I'm picking Houston here, and my only flip-flop on it is Toradol's a hell of a drug. So that's my only thing, So we'll see how much drugs he gets, but I'm taking Houston right now. And now we're going to go. We'll see how this game goes. We're talking about some crazy games that could happen. Pittsburgh's going into Baltimore. Baltimore is a 6-point favorite. Pittsburgh putting up a stinker this past week, getting blown out.
Look on Pat's face. Same. We all picked Pittsburgh, buddy.
Yeah,
we all picked Pittsburgh.
that was tough. And it definitely helped the Bills. I think it locks them into the 2 or 3 seed for sure. So what do you got?
Still going to ride with Pittsburgh just because of the points. I think,
me too.
At this point.
Yeah.
Fooled me twice. Shame on both of us.
Yeah.
Pat, what about you? Are you riding with us?
No. You know what? State of
Nope.
That's probably smart. That's probably smart.
You know what, State of Maryland? You want your MVP. You want him so bad. You want him, Mr. 3-timer, no ringer. Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
I like Lamar though. He's an average guy. I like him and Josh. You could have a beer with anywhere. But if he's really the MVP, he'll clear this 6-point spread, no problem.
Pat sounds like he's out here taunting people like he's on Letterkenny. This is awesome. I love it. Same energy.
That's funny. I'm with you. I mean, he had 5 touchdowns last week, and Josh Allen still stole the show. So finally, Lamar, sit down for a minute, please. I like you too. I'm with you, but this is Allen's turn.
Yeah.
Interesting picks there, Pat. Now, this team, what is going on with them? Is Tyreek Hill dead? Is he broken? Is he, serving the week in jail and then comes back for the games? I don't. That's mean to say. That's kind of defamation.
No, but he has no character to defamate. So he's a domestic abuser. I have no respect for him. So if you want to talk crap about him, you can. He's not a very good person.
I was talking to a friend of the show, Sam, who likes the Dolphins. I told you that she was in Vietnam and her boss, did I tell you the story? And her boss was like, all right, you're from Buffalo, Josh Allen. And she's like, no, I moved 20,000 miles away to get away from him. And anyways, so she's like, Mike McDaniel.
You can't escape Josh. That's just proof you can't escape Josh.
He's worldwide famous, which is cool. And he's on our team. He's our guy. But she was telling me that Mike McDaniel's offense is super stale right now, and he's not changing anything. He didn't change when Tua was out. It's like in the comparison was Malik Willis when he got the start. Not Nagy. Who's their coordinator or who's their head coach?
Matt LaFleur.
Matt LaFleur changed his entire offense.
Oh yeah, they started grounding and pounding like crazy. Josh Jacobs went on a heater.
Yeah, and then you get Tua's out. They're not doing anything different. Tyreek Hill is like a one-trick pony right now. He has. Christian McCaffrey might qualify for this, but Tyreek Hill might be the worst fantasy pick in football this year. Somebody I have in multiple leagues. So that's the reason why I went 0-14. Yeah. So I'm taking San Francisco here. I don't think the Dolphins are going to have any gas left in this game. This will be like their season deflator.
That's good logic. I like that. I'm going to go with Miami because I'm deluded. Pat, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, the game's in Miami. I feel like now that there's no real pressure, that's when Tua and Mike McDaniel play their best football.
That's true. All right, I feel better about my Miami pick there. I'm mostly, I can't even believe I'm picking Miami after Tua lost me my fantasy playoff game. But anyway, Stockholm Syndrome, it's a wonderful thing. Kind of like Toradol. Anyway, what's next on the slate?
Next on this list, Cleveland at Cincinnati. Now, Jameis Winston, this guy, I don't know what to say.
It's DTR this week. It's DTR.
Yeah.
They benched him.
They did. Yes. They benched him in the middle of that game. They benched him with 10 minutes to go.
Nick Chubb gave the interception to the other team. The other 2 picks were totally his fault, but the one was not. And it totally sucks. Sorry, my bad beat of the week was I switched out at 12-20. Jerry Jeudy for Jalen Waddle, and Jerry Jeudy puts up 22 points. Jalen Waddle puts up a 0. I lost by 15, so that's a tough way to exit. The only league I made the playoffs in out of 6 for fantasy football. So, I mean, I'm taking Cincinnati for sure. Joe Burrow is so pissed that his team is bad this year. He's
they
catch him on the sideline.
Fire.
He's letting everybody know I'm here, and I don't care what the percentage is. Don't let this man in the playoffs. Somebody beat him one more time. Yeah. Don't want to play him unless if we're the 3 seed and the Bengals are the last seed and the Bengals have to go to Baltimore or Pittsburgh and maybe they end up seeing the Chiefs at some point. I'd be cool with that, but I don't want to play him at all. The dude's on fire right now, so I'm taking the Bengals in this game.
Yeah, I would take the Bills versus that Cincinnati defense at this point, though.
Would you take?
I would take that matchup.
Over the Bills defense?
Burrow against the Bills defense? Yeah, that doesn't sound super fun, but
just not let him in.
He's
not invited to this party.
What is the Bengals' overall record right now?
I think they're 6-8.
6-8.
Yeah, they've got 8 losses. They've got 8 losses.
I mean, you figure what the Broncos are 9-5. 8-5?
The Bengals are like 1% to make the playoffs right now. I think their odds are pretty low.
Like that, yeah.
But
I also have Stockholm syndrome though, but I'm not feeling any sort of love towards them. So I definitely.
Well, it's just
who
tricky.
are you taking back? You trailed off too long there. I didn't hear what you were thinking.
Give me the Bengals, man.
All right, Cincinnati for Pat.
That's tough.
It hurts.
Is that Pat's
it
new
hurts.
trick? He's just going to trail off, and then he can go back on his picks the next week. He's like, I said Cleveland.
No, I'm not. I'm done. I'm done with the dog pound for this year.
Yeah.
Week
That's
1
right.
next year, I'm picking them, but
They're put
This
the
year's
clubs
in
in
the
the
wash.
closet, right? Like
Yeah.
clean them off. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, we're going to Washington for this game. The Eagles flying in, not that far away, to Washington, D.C. to play the Commanders. I don't think the Eagles are all that good. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know if I watch them enough.
Were they
Jalen
on a
Hurts has some
10 game win
flaws.
streak?
Nothing. Maybe they're like the Steelers with Roethlisberger, right? We can use that comparison forever. I don't know. Maybe they're good. Maybe they're not. I think Jalen Hurts has some flaws. Did you see the comment about his pretty privilege?
He is
the guy
handsome.
on ESPN. Pretty
God, he's
privilege.
handsome.
Like, this guy, he just goes out there. He doesn't play that great of a game. He gets a couple balls to A.J. Brown. He takes it to the house, and he just comes out there. He's got his nice, shiny chain on and his handsome face. and he
that singular
flats his
earring
eyelashes at
is
you.
nice.
I think we're learning more about the ESPN commentator through those comments than we are about Jalen Hurts.
Well, not to sound, I bought I have hoop earrings because of Jalen Hurts, because of how cool they looked. I swear to God. But
That's funny. The reason why I kind of like Philly in this matchup, spoiling my pick here a little bit, is because of their passing defense, the way that it's come on recently. Yeah. Their passing defense started the year. I remember, looking at stats for bets and stuff like that, and they were towards the bottom of the league and letting up passing yards and stuff like that. And they've shored up so much that they have since become the number 1 in terms of yards passing defense so far this year. So they can lock some guys down. And I think that's the bread and butter of Washington's offense. So I think they're going to struggle. Pat, who are you taking in that one?
I think the Eagles stink. Jalen Turds, Saquon Fartley, CJ Gardner, or should I say CJ Shartner CJ Shartner Johnson.
I think it was. I think missing it was even funnier. I think that was better.
No,
than
give me.
the
I
actuals.
like Jaden Daniels. I
like Jaden Daniels too. Philly. This seems like a Philly kind of game. I don't know. Who knows? Crazier things have happened.
We shall see. All right, last game of the year. Not at all.
That's not
Close.
true.
I meant to say last game of the pick'ems. I
Slate.
just suck at this. Last game of the slate this week are of our pick 6 pick'ems. The New England Patriots are coming to the Buffalo Bills, and we got the Josh Allen effect. MVP flexed into the 425 game. People want to see this man, and CBS delivered. So 14 points, kind of a big spread.
We got flexed into the late window. I didn't see that.
425 window. Yeah.
Dude, this is brutal. When you have a kid, dude, it's like Luca has to go to bed at 7:00, and the game's never over at 7:00. Like,
No, it doesn't. It's never over at 7:00. And if it makes you feel any better,
It could be over by that point, Pat. At this point, the Mitch Trubisky could be in the game at that point. So
I still want to watch it though.
I'm with you. I'm right with you. I don't turn it off when Mitch Trubisky goes in.
I'm a grown man, and it goes way past my bedtime.
It's usually because I'm waiting. It's usually because I'm waiting for 5 more Ray Davis yards for my bets. Usually, that's why I'm watching. But
anybody taking the points? Pat, you taking the points?
Are you taking the Bills to win, not to cover? The Bills are favored. Bills are favored by 14
points is a lot of points, man. And
it
is.
I was trying to think. So I know the Texans game. What was that? Like 16 points. That was the biggest spread they had in a long time. And they covered it. And then didn't we play the Patriots again last year with a crazy spread and then we lose? I don't know. 14 points is a lot of points, though. I'm going to take the Pats on the points.
Yeah. I think that's smart, Pat. I almost, the rules. I can't not take the Bills, but I would think about it for this one. Like, I would not be putting money down on Bills minus 14.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're due for a letdown game, but it's the NFL. There's parity, a 14-point spread for anybody versus anybody. I mean, look at how the Carolina Panthers have played people these last few weeks. I know they just go and lose one to the Cowboys, but before that, they were playing people pretty close. So the Patriots are getting paid to play too, and December is some of the, people like to play spoilers. Teams are just trying to figure out what the heck their identity is going to be for next year. And don't doubt a team that has absolutely nothing to lose too. So But that being said, I hope the Bills put up 28 points on their first 4 drives and then put Mitch Trubisky in. So we'll see.
The only thing here is Drake May's first game against his, better version of himself. So maybe he brings it for this game. I don't know.
Call that a rivalry.
Yeah, I don't want it to be. This could be. It hasn't happened yet. I'm not trying to put it into motion, but we don't need to see a quarterback do to us like what Allen does to the Dolphins, right? We don't need to see that. We saw that from Allen.
I think we're not immune, but I think we're safe from that as long as Allen is Buffalo Bill.
I'm not worried about Allen's play. Again, the offense can win us every game. I'm worried about what could Drake May do to us. And Allen flashed big time against the Dolphins.
Years in the future, right?
But those Dolphins teams that he flashed against were terrible, though.
Well, yeah. Just saying, man. I don't want it to happen. Give me the Bills. Let's go.
I love it. I love it. All right, we'll see how that goes. If you're there at the
stadium on Sunday, come say hi. Have a good time. It's going to be cold. Night game makes it worse. It's going to be extra cold. Layer up. I'm going to wear my boots this time. Not going to do that ever again. We're going to wear sneakers to a cold game.
So what do you guys think was worse? The Adrian Hill game earlier this year that he officiated, or him robbing us of a Josh Allen chest pass TD on a phantom David Edwards hold? Did you guys see a hold? I did not see a hold there.
I mean, I will say Adrian did give us some favorable calls throughout the game. Shout out 716er, bro.
Game.
We love you,
man. It was actually a good game. Like, I can't complain too much.
For the first time ever. I'm not complaining. They didn't call any pass interference calls.
That's true. They're actually a while into that game. I feel like the Lions offensive line was holding quite a bit, and they didn't call any flags on the Lions. I don't even think in the first half. I don't think the Lions had any penalties at least in the first quarter. It might have been the first half.
We got bailed out on one drive because of a roughing the passer.
There was that too. And there was also one where Josh slid and got hit in the helmet and didn't get called either.
Yeah.
But they were trying their best to keep the flags in the pocket. So, I
think the NFL said something to them about the game being such a high stakes game with the two best teams in the NFL? Be like, let them play, boys.
Yeah, you don't want it to be the ref show, because that's been the story with too many games this season already. Keeps happening. A face mask was missed. I think it was last night again on a late play. So yeah.
I think I'm more upset about the false start at the goal line, because that was a huge swing of the game. I'm trying to explain it to my grandma about the double dip, and Deion Dawkins just moved his arm. It looked like the defender jumped in, but I'm like, every lineman for the cadence, like, you should be allowed to do that. You see it. You don't often see the tackle do it, though. Yeah. It's usually the guard. So I don't know. That was upsetting to me. That could have changed the game big time. If we kick that field goal and we make it.
Yeah, it was probably Joe Brady's only mistake of the game, not going with the snowplow at that point on the 1 yard line with Josh Allen and trying to do the goofy thing where they went play action to Curtis Samuel or something like that, But again, like he's probably thinking like, okay, we got to spread out the Josh Allen stats. We're not going to do the Jalen Hurts stat line here.
Well, I mean, that is a thing to watch. That is a thing to watch for that game coming up. So. What is he at? He has 14 rushing touchdowns right now. He needs 2 to break the all-time record, which he shares with Josh Allen.
Who?
Jalen Hurts.
Oh, I thought the record's 16. Allen had 15 last year, right?
Yeah. So.
And then Allen is 2 away from Thurman. That's the other one that I think you should watch for. At home, maybe they're pushing extra for it. Give him an extra play call or there's a tush push for a touchdown.
Yeah, Josh has 11 right now. According to, Google. Let me dig into ESPN and see if I can get a better confirmation on that.
Because it's 11 touchdowns and 27 passing touchdowns.
I'm
11.
certain it's 11 because I was on PFR today at work. I mean, I was working today at work. But
that's funny.
But he's right by Thurman for the all-time lead for franchise history. I think that's awesome. So maybe they're looking for that at home. A Christmas little gift for Josh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we talk about Josh too. Right before we get out of here, I just want to, give like 2 shout outs for plays that were just like freaking fantastic. And like, obviously it's a team sport, but Matt Collins tipping the ball to himself on the onside kick was just about the ballsiest thing I've ever seen done. Like the Micah Hyde spin was cooler because he returned it for a touchdown, but to have the cojones to tip the ball up on an onside kick and not just A, hit it out of bounds, or B, go up with 2 hands and then just try to cradle it.
Well, I mean, I guess that's my question though, is what is the rule? If the ball, you tip the ball to yourself and it goes out of bounds, or you on an onside kick, it goes off of you and
if
out
it goes
of bounds.
off of you out of bounds, then it's just the return team's ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the kicking team has to recover it. I don't think that there's any scenario where that would happen.
Because I thought it was a good play too, because like say he tries to tip it to himself and he pushes the ball back an extra 10 yards, then, even if they do get the rock back by some miracle, they're not in field goal range and they're, I don't know. That was a sick play though.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. And it's like tipped it to himself, and he could have very easily, when it tipped to himself, have gotten rocked as the ball was in the air. So I was like, just to have the concentration to do that and be totally fearless. I was like, okay, maybe this grounding thing with no feet and these videos of him sleeping in a snowbank are really paying off for sure. Also, the Dawson Knox
great
one-handed catch
with
8 minutes left in the fourth was so clutch. Like that game could have been so different because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so glad that both those plays were made, because both those plays, if neither of those plays are made, then we might be sitting here talking about Tyler Bass missing a 24-yard field goal, which would have been bad news for us and
also
our sanity.
For your gambling pundits out there, that reception was Allen's that reception from Knox was Allen's 23rd completion, and Allen's line was 22 completions on that day. So that cashed the over for Allen's completion.
I'm pretty sure every single prop for Josh went over. His rushing yards, passing TDs, I think was 1.5. Good day to bet Allen overs for sure.
It's always a good day.
It's always a good day. Did you see that crazy parlay that the DraftKings better bet?
Awesome. It's awesome.
Bet 390 and won 100K,
60 grand.
Something like that. Yeah. Crazy. I also saw somebody who had a 10 TD score parlay who went from $5 to 100,000.
Nice.
That's a good day. It's a good day at the office.
If Montgomery would have got a goal line handoff, I would have been up $200. But
I know that's the worst. Yeah. It's the worst. All right, well let's get out of here before we go too long here. You guys know where to find us on all platforms at Not Buff Podcast. Keep your comments coming in. Leave us a review if you so please, and we'll see you guys next week. And as always, go Bills.
Go Bills.